Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today we are going to be discussing the price action of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been, let's say, volatile over the last few days. Over the weekend it's been pretty stagnant and today is the weekly close. So we're going to jump into the hourly, daily and weekly timeframes, reviewing the price action and where I think things are heading next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and you will be staying up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, let's continue the conversation down there. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7, and it really does help basically the community on their goal to financial freedom. So why not head down there? There's lots of research, lots of discussion around crypto. Links are in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump on down into today's video, kicking things off with the 1 hour time frame. So here we have a Bitcoin BTC paired up with USDT. We're using the BitGet spot exchange on the 1 hour time frame. And as you can kind of see, we are still in this kind of, expanding megaphone pattern or expanding diagonal based pattern. I suspect we still have the potential for a little move to the upside still here. So for the most part, what we want to do is we want to focus in on this high and this low. So basically 26,224 to 26,876. These are going to be the areas that we look for a breakout or a breakdown from, okay, to kind of confirm where we currently sit when it comes to BTC. So there are a couple of different ways of looking at this. I think the one that we are likely to see is this break upwards above 26,876. And then, of course, once we're broken above there, I would expect us to kind of short the market and to drop down quite aggressively. But that will probably be more of a next week kind of thing. Now, in here, is there a possible for a break to the downside? Yes, we could potentially see a small run up and then another break to the downside, again losing that 26,224. And if this is the case, then I would be looking to go long somewhere down here. Okay, so always go the opposite direction. I'd be shorting from up here and going long from down here. Okay, those are the kind of the points of view. Now, we are currently just resting on that 50 hourly EMA, and we are above the 200 hourly EMA. However, considering our momentum indicator is, although not a great indication of things to come on the weekends, are showing us with weakness right where we are on this trend line, obviously to the upside. Lose this, lose that low, we could see a bit more to the downside before bouncing. Okay, so on the hourly chart, lots to kind of play for, lots of volatility, but kind of slow and boring. We need more information, which I do think will come over the course of the day here on the hourly. So we're going to go and jump straight up into the daily. We'll take a look at those macro views. Now, on these macro views, we are still in those bearish structures. They have not changed. We are still bearish on BTC until proven otherwise. And it's really important that I articulate this very clearly. I want the market to be bullish. We are not bullish because we're in a bearish structure, and the only way to break out of this bearish structure is if price were to rally up higher than 28,588, right? And so people call me a perma bear. They can call me whatever they like. Essentially, the data is the data, and it shows that there's unfortunately further to the downside to be had here. And so, that's what we use, right? We can see that we're below the daily 50 EMA. We're below the daily 200 EMA. And we can also see and articulate that we're getting close to a death cross, okay? Not just on the 50 and 200 EMAs, but we also can throw in the moving averages. The moving averages of the 50 yellow line and 200 blue line basically did actually have a cross on the 11th of September, right? And of course, we pumped up here because these death crosses, these scenarios are only showing you what's already happened. They're not showing you the future. However, we are to expect more downside when the 50 moving average crosses down lower than that of the 200 exponential moving average. So if I go ahead and remove the lines you don't need to see, such as these two, you can see the yellow line is on a collision course for the white line, and this is a death cross. Now, the death cross is going to cause a lot of mass panic in the space when the social media and platforms like X, Facebook, and YouTube, along with other media outlets, also discussing the idea of a death cross. Now, a lot of the narratives that you find online at the moment are incredibly bullish, but this, when it happens, will be spoken about, and it'll only be spoken about once it's happened. as they start to realize price starts dipping down. So once the price starts dipping, more significantly, you'll find that everyone's going to start talking about a death cross, okay? But we've been talking about this for weeks. It's on a collision course, and it's likely to occur, and we're going to see further downside. And on the daily time frame, we are still targeting out the 22,693 to 23,874. And as I said, the only way that you can prevent this from happening is if we go up higher than 28,588, which it just doesn't seem to be something that is likely to occur. So we are looking for the third wave drop to the downside, unfortunately. Not only are we heavily overbought on the stochastic RSI on the daily time frame, we can go ahead and take that off and throw the volumes in. You can see that the volumes on the way up were decreasing, so never a good sign there either. We can take that off and throw the RSI in. You can see the RSI has come up to this area where it's found heavy resistance in the past. You can see it right in here, and chances are it's going to continue to find resistance here and come all the way back down again. Okay, so you can see this. And then of course we have a bullish divergence down here, okay, and that obviously took us up towards our 200 EMA, but that's been played now, and we are right back up in that high mid-range on the RSI. So for the most part, overbought on stochastic, hitting resistance on the RSI. Volumes are down low, we're below the 50 and below the 200 EMAs, below the 50 moving average, below the 200 moving average, death cross looming on the 50 MA against the 200 EMA. And so for the most part, I struggle to see the positivity that these people are kind of clinging on to at the moment. I think the data is quite clear to us that we should be expecting moves to the downside, and we should take that into consideration. Although we want a bull market and we want to be bullish on the market, it's just not likely to be the case. And so lots of negativity to be found on the daily time frame. That is not to say that the smaller time frames can't move up a little bit here and there, but the macro view on the daily time frame is very, very obvious that we have to see these moves to the downside, and the only way to prevent them is if the bulls are able to take the price of Bitcoin above 28,588, which, it's close, but realistically, I just cannot see it happening. So that takes us over into the weekly time frame. And well, the weekly time frame, we are still sandwiched between the 50 moving average, or the 50 exponential moving average, and the 200 exponential moving average. So the white line being the 200, the red line being the 50, right? Now, if I go ahead and go to my indicators here and I find my moving averages, so if I go ahead and throw in just a moving average simple in here, we'll show that one right there. You can see this blue line. I'm going to go ahead and take this blue line here and just go into the settings. I'm going to change this to let's go with a length of we've got the so let's go for 50 here, and then what we'll do is we'll go in and change that into yellow, and we'll give it a little bit thicker of a line. There we go. Okay, so we now have a 50 moving average, and we have a 200, right? So if I get rid of the red line, you've got the yellow and the white. Okay, so here we can see a potential golden cross on the weekly time frame. We're not there yet, okay? But this will probably take, I don't know, another month or so, and we should be in a really good spot right here for a bigger move to the upside, right? And so a lot of people are going to be thinking to themselves, but surely that's we're bearish on the daily time frame. Yeah, and the daily time frame will take 7 candles to build up into one weekly candle, right? So we can appreciate that this is probably a fair few weeks out, but a golden cross is coming. So we have the death cross on the daily, that'll take price down into that 5th wave low point, and then we have a golden cross on the weekly that will take price up higher. Okay, because I do think we are likely to see a $29,000 Bitcoin again in the coming months, right? I do think that is something that we're likely to see. I just don't think it's going to happen right away. Okay, so we first dip down and then we move on up. Okay, we'll get this golden cross idea across the line on our weekly time frame, and then we'll start to see a bit move to the downside. Okay, so that's kind of where that is. An SMA as well. So let's go ahead and put that 50 EMA back on. So where do we think the weekly closes are going to be? Well, the bulls and the bears are fighting it out, right? We can see resistance still sits there on that 50 EMA, sat at 26,821. The bulls are looking to try to get that close above the 26,821, and the bears are going to try to make sure price does not close above the 50 EMA at 26,821. Ideally, the bears do want to drag price down lower. They're going to look to close below 24,336. Actually, it's 24,707, sorry. And they're going to look to close below 24,707. However, I don't think they're going to do that in this particular candle. I think ultimately we're probably just going to have another dojo candle. We'll come down a little bit and we'll just be in a very similar position as we were in the previous 3 weekly closes. So it'll be interesting to kind of see. I do not expect the bulls to close above the 26,821, but it's there. And if they do close, then that might give a little bit more strength next week. I suspect, though, that our structures are set in stone at this point with everything that's happening next week with FOMC, interest rate hikes, and all these kind of things. I just do not see how the price of Bitcoin is going to rally on up to break out of those bearish structures it finds itself in. But that's kind of where it sits. I think that's going to wrap up today's video. If you have found it useful and informative, then why not go ahead and smash that like button? I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out, linked in at the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.